Stadium in the city of Sofia, in the heart of the Balkans, 55,000 drenched Bulgarians and a few Scots besides in this stadium to see the match that will decide who goes to Germany next summer for the European Championship finals. The Bulgarians, need to be reminded, need only 1 point from this match and they will be through. We're looking at Božidar Ishkrenov, one of the strikers for the Bulgarian team, a team that shows several changes from the lineup in Dublin, and the most significant of those, as you may have heard, Georgi Dimitrov, the Bulgarian captain, injured in France with his club Saint-Etienne and unable to play. His place goes to Krasimir Bezinski, who's winning his 12th cap. We're looking now at Boris Mikhailov, the Bulgarian goalkeeper who missed the game against Ireland in Dublin because of injury, and you can see the strapping on his thigh indicative of that. Mikhailov returns in place of the man who had such a disaster there, Ananiev. So Mikhailov back in goal. Bezinski replacing Dimitrov at the heart of the defence, and there's another change featuring a man who came on as a sub in Dublin, Peter Alexandrov, who replaced Voinov in Dublin. He keeps his place in the Bulgarian lineup, and Voinov is a sub. And it should be pointed out that one of the regular frontmen for the Bulgarian team, Lachizar Tanev, is missing a long-term injury problem there. He missed the game in Dublin too. Scotland, without Ali McCoy, St. Gerrard, Richard Goff, and without also Jim Bett, and with Eric Black and Mo Johnson unavailable because of club commitments in France, starting with a new strike force of Graham Sharp and Brian McClare. 12 internationals they've played between them. They've yet to score for Scotland, and there they are over the ball on the halfway line as the Austrian referee Helmut Kohl, a very famous name for a politician, maybe not so much for a referee, but this man very definitely on the FIFA list, blows the whistle, and Scotland playing left to right get this game underway. The Scots in familiar navy blue shirts and those still rather strange white shorts with a blue band around them, and Bulgaria in their home strip of white and green with red facings. It seems that always when there's a big game on in this Vasilevsky Stadium, it pours. It was a fine morning in Sofia, but the rain came down while we were having lunch, and it hasn't stopped since. Memories of Ireland's visit here, and memories too for me of a visit 9 years ago when Northern Ireland came and in similar weather conditions won 2-0. So the Bulgarians, though they appear it, are not actually invincible at home. But they haven't lost here in 3.5 years since West Germany won on this ground in 1984, and the Scots haven't won away from home since beating Israel in Tel Aviv at the start of '86. That puts it all in perspective. The Bulgarians mounting their first attack. Dug out there by Paul McStay, but not very successfully. Oh, an uncertainty in the Scots defence, and Leighton saw it late. Jim Leighton saw it late, but did what he had to do. A rasping shot to test any goalkeeper, coming out of nothing, but the keeper was perfectly positioned, and it was his position saved him. But Bulgaria, in just the second minute of the game, posing the threat. All the way back to Iliev. And now Bulgaria with their left back, Petrov. That's Alexandrov. And a corner to the Bulgarians, and the second in the space of a minute. The Bulgarian crowd rising to their team. A team that's qualified for 5 World Cup finals, but is yet to make it to the final phase of the European Championship. But needing, as we say, just a point here to make sure of that. Here's Stoichkov with the corner. That was Bezinski, bundled off it. Aitken for Scotland. And now Brian McClare. And McClare running out of options. And dispossessed by Satkov. And the chance for Boris Mikhailov to get the feel of the ball. "5:30 on a damp evening in Sofia. And Scotland here playing for places, it must be said, in Andy Roxburgh's World Cup plans. They, of course, can't possibly qualify for the European finals now, but there's a lot of pride at stake for the young Lions. There's Andy Roxburgh nearest to us. He said he was going to put out his older hands to begin with, and if he needed some younger, fresher legs, then he had them on the bench for later in the game. Here's a chance. The big man, Alexandrov, just couldn't connect, and Jim Leighton suggesting that the defence calms down. That's Petar Alexandrov. He came on as a second-half substitute at Lansdowne Road and has held his place in the starting lineup here. Jim Leighton, the Scots goalkeeper, beaten by Mark Lawrenson at Hampden Park, if you need reminding. And here, between the posts for the Scots for the 38th time. Steve Nicholl nudging it on. Graham Sharp looking for McClare. Aitken goes in. The last man back, Iliev. Alex McLeish underneath that, and has found Ian Wilson. And the Everton man to the left back, Maurice Malpat. And that's a foul. The legs taken from beneath the Dundee United man. Scotland's free kick. And again a shrill blast from the Austrian. Another free kick against the home team, meeting, as you'd expect, with the disapproval of the crowd. That's McLeish. Sharp rising. And now McStay. And this is Gary Gillespie, playing for the Scots for just the second time, the Liverpool man. Stevie Clark. Another of the inexperienced portion of the back four. Gillespie, it must be said, would have featured much more in the Scots' plans had he not suffered with injury for such a long time, but now at the ripe old age of 27, he can consider himself something of a regular. If such you can be from winning just your second cap, but he is featuring firmly in Andy Roxburgh's plans. Neat football by the Bulgarians. And spread wide for Nikolov. The pitch, as you could see, beating him. Sadkov. Play forward for Alexandrov. It's a good idea. No foul. Sadkov again. Beaten by Aitken. And now Brian McClare. Nobody in close attendance. Sharp has pulled wide to the far side. McClare decided to take them on his own. A bit of height on that might have worked to better effect, but the Scots were slow in getting men forward there. Gillespie and McLeish have a pretty good understanding at the back, it appears. McLeish obviously been given the task of attacking the high ball, Gillespie standing off. McStay to Wilson. Towards Sharp, and running for McClare. And Sharp pulls away once again in the middle, wants it high, but that's too close to Mikhailov. And away for the goal kick. It would appear that the rain that's persisted all afternoon has finally vanished, but the remnants of the damp afternoon still to be felt on the turf. Petrov. Sadkov. Now with Stoichkov. And played forward for Ishkrenov. And the flag raised. The infringement spotted by the linesman on the far side. Free kick to Bulgaria. Headed out by Aitken. that cup. And now Stoichkov. Stoichkov trying to find a way through for the shot, but it was blocked by Aitken, and here he goes, and he's the furthest shot forward. McClare in support. Aitken wants it through, but Aitken is offside. The flag was raised. The Bulgarians just moved out in a line, and Aitken, who'd made a good run forward from the deep, just caught offside as the return pass was played. But the shape of the game, really as expected, Bulgaria taking it to Scotland, Scotland relying on the break from the deep. A misunderstanding there, McLeish didn't know whether to go or stay, and in the end, fortune favoured him. Malpass, and Paul McStay. Sharp on for Wilson. Malpass offering support. And still Malpass, and this time they have men up. And that was cut out there by Ishkrinov, who'd come back into a defensive position, and Scotland get the corner. But that was good build-up up the Scottish left. Malpass, a fullback who likes to attack, and Ian Wilson, who's been playing in the Kevin Sheedy role for Everton of late. But we've now got Paul McStay with the corner for Scotland. Nobody putting pressure on Sirakov. Up to Ishkrinov, and a free kick awarded against the Scots, insisting that Ishkrinov indulged in a little dive. Chance for you to test your understanding of the Cyrillic alphabet, but that is the Bulgarian team. And substitutes. Confirmation in our own script. Ten minutes gone, no goals as yet. Scotland living dangerously. That early shot saved by Jim Leighton. The Bulgarian coach we're looking at, Hristo Mladinov, in charge of the team for the third time. An advocate of open football, having played himself in Hungary during the 50s. Believe it or not, is Scotland. Andy Roxburgh, whose name was last in the list. And a substitutes bench that includes Henry Smith, the Hearts goalkeeper, Derek White, the Celtic defender, Pat Nevin, and Gordon Jury of Chelsea, and Gary Mackay of Heart of Midlothian. Interesting spelling of McClare, number 10. The Scots still 2 matches away from completing their programme. In Group 7 of the European Championship, after this, they have Luxembourg to play in the Grand Duchy on the 2nd of next month. And after that, they'll be watching keenly the World Cup draw to see who they draw in the qualifying stages for the 1990 tournament, which will be held in Italy. Alexandrov for Bulgaria. Petrov. And all the way across to Nikolov. One back by McStay. In bravely there, and it's fallen for Sharp. McClare is in the middle. The Bulgarian came up worse in that challenge. Wilson, McStay, and Graham Sharp unable to control it, but the Bulgarian still down. That was cut out by Stevie Clark. Steve Nichols colliding with Stoichkov, who who's being admonished by the referee. Nicol determined not to let him get away, but I don't think it was as serious as the Bulgarian is making it appear. Meanwhile, there's another Bulgarian on the deck. I had a picture after that challenge with Paul McStay, and really one of those 50-50 balls. This is the incident involving Steve Nicol, who, if anything, only caught him on the heels when he went through there. The other was potentially more serious. I felt Paul McStay very bravely in on a ball that might even have been 49-51. But it was the Bulgarian who maybe held back a little bit in the challenge and came off the worst. Stoichkov is all right, but there's attention elsewhere on the park for the other Bulgarian who's down. Bulgaria will resume with a free kick. The man with the captain's armband is Nasko Sirakov. He's assumed the captaincy in the absence of Dimitrov. Sirakov, of course, key man against Ireland when the side lost 2-1 here. He dispossessed Mick McCarthy to set up the goal for Anyo Zadkov, and was then the man who was involved in the incident with Kevin Moran that led to the penalty. The injury problem appears to have passed, and Bulgaria can resume with a free kick for the foul by Steve Nicol. Petrov. Ishkrenov. And he got through the gap well, but the cross left something to be desired. Goal kick to Jim Leighton in Scotland. Quarter of an hour of the match gone. It's still Bulgaria 0, Scotland 0. A state of affairs that, if it were to persist to the end, would mean that Bulgaria would qualify for Germany, and the Republic of Ireland would be runners-up in second place. Ishkrenov. Coming in from behind. Another free kick to Bulgaria. Stoichkov. Semyonov. On a loose one from Aitken. It was Gillespie in to save the day. Malpas clearing. And now McStay. Oh, he did well. Nicol. Aitken. And Scotland getting out of that little corner with some considerable style. That's played up towards McClare. And wisely opting out of that challenge and winning the throw in. Gary Gillespie, the last man back. Hit too firmly for his Liverpool clubmate Steve Nicol. Throw to Bulgaria. This is Scotland's first visit to Sofia. Played Bulgaria only twice before. Of course, their previous meeting in this tournament was a scoreless draw, the Scots' first match in this competition, the 1988 European Championship. They played Bulgaria 9 years ago in Glasgow and beat them 2-1, so they're defending an unbeaten record against the men from the Balkans. Ilya. Collision there, Malpas all right, but the Bulgarian stayed down. It's now Steve Nicol. Couldn't find a way through. Sirakov. And Ishkrenov unable to keep his feet. Out off the head of Petrov. And Steve Clark, the former St Mirren and now Chelsea full-back, takes the throw for Scotland. One of the new brigade for the Scots. That's a goal kick to Bulgaria. Is Clark one of the new young men in Andy Roxburgh's plans? Being rave reviews for his performances with Chelsea. And now Ian Wilson. Sharp. He gave up the chase and then decided, it wasn't in fact Sharp, it was McStay, decided maybe he'd better get involved, but by then the ball was back with Mikhailov. Stoichkov, looking for Iskrenov. Gary Gillespie, cool as you like. Clark. Another one goes astray. Petar Petrov, the Bulgarian left back. A loose one from Stoichkov. Paul McStay. And now McLeish. Aitken to Clark. He used the square inches well there. Aitken forward for Sharp, and that's run for him. And McClare is in the middle. Towards Brian McClare, but headed away for another chance for Sharp. And the keeper having to look acrobatic. But that was well played by Graham Sharp off the right. The cross headed away in some desperation, and then the second attempt well saved by Mikhailov. Oh, Graham Sharp, I mentioned the statistic that neither he nor McClare had scored for Scotland. Sharp in his 9th international now. But he said, and quite rightly, that Ali McCoist hadn't been a noted goal scorer. Then he got 2 against Hungary and 1 against Belgium, and suddenly it was all going right for him, and they're missing him. He said he felt he only needed the break, and the goals would come for him too. It's Graham Sharp, Everton and Scotland. And he got the knockdown there, but Nicol had taken up the wrong position to take advantage of it, at any rate. Quite still in the stadium, no breeze to speak of at all, and as I was saying, the rain has vanished for the time being. What has left its legacy in terms of a greasy top surface. And a distinct chill in the air. The sun disappears in this part of the world at this time of year. It becomes quite cold. All the way back to Mikhailov. Midway through the first half, a quarter of the match is gone. And the score as it was at the start, Bulgaria 0, Scotland 0. Stoichkov to Sadkov. Sirakov, the captain. Sadkov again, beaten by Aitken. Sharp in to win it back for Scotland. Nicol now. And it's Gary Gillespie. McClare. That was meant for Nicol, but Nicol had just gone offside a fraction. And another free kick to Bulgaria. Another free kick, awarded this time against Maurice Malpas. Nicolo plays his football in Sweden. For the other fullback, Petrov. Stoichkov. Petrov. Alexandrov. Offside this time. Free kick to Scotland. Went up, but couldn't quite make the contact. Late from the deep to try and catch the Scottish defence out. The Bulgarian appeared to be backing in to Alex McLeish, but that wasn't how the Austrian referee saw it. So, Stoichkov wins a free kick in a very dangerous position from a Scottish point of view. And all 11 of Andy Roxburgh's team have massed between ball and goal. The preliminary wall has 4 men in it. Now 5. McClare on the end, Roy Aitken doing the organising there. The referee wanted to pull back ever more. But now he's happy, and the play can resume. Stoichkov. That wasn't very far away, and it took a touch. The referee saw a touch, and it's a corner to Bulgaria. Leighton appeared a fraction late with the dive, but then if it did take a deflection as the referee says it did, then perhaps the dive only looked late because the ball was whistling further away from where he thought it was going. Stoichkov took the free kick. Stoichkov will take the corner. Former boxer, he's going to send that in to Jim Leighton's area like a curling left hook, but one that carried no menace. McClare had got himself far enough forward, but there was no one to assist, and the ball skidded off his head. Here it is again, Stoichkov. Well, it was the merest touch, if it did go off Brian McClare. Leighton was down well enough with it from that angle. It certainly confirmed it. The ball was whistling away. Aitken. Nicol realizing early on it was a fruitless chase. That comes for Bulgaria now. Ishkrenov. Stoichkov. Shirakov continuing the run. Steve Clark cutting it out. Ishkrenov, Stoichkov, Katkov, Semyonov. You could see what they were trying to do there, just prise open the Scottish defence and release the man, then to get in behind him up the right, but there was too much pace on the chip. Semyonov sent over the top. Danger averted once again. And that is running in the direction of McClare. But Nikolov there to police the situation. Ian Wilson putting pressure on him. The ball's out, and that's a corner to Scotland. Well won by Ian Wilson. Can they work something here? They've shot in the middle. McClare has gone there too, but they've taken the short corner. Wilson back to Aitken. Breaks for Wilson again. couldn't get around the back, and in fact, he was fouling his man as he went. The referee not in the least bit interested in Wilson's protestations of innocence. The free kick is to Bulgaria. Statkov, then Petrov, Ishbrenov losing his footing, McLeish shaping to clear it. Intelligent use of the ball there to Nicol, and now Clark finding their way through to McStay. Good little ball, and well played out to Nicol, and they got some room here. Shot goes to the middle, and Nicol's cross taking the rebound. That's a corner. Might have been a better cross from Steve Nicol, but it was well done by the Scots, and in particular Paul McStay. His little left touch opened a gap where there appears to be none, sucked the Bulgarians in, and then Nicol was away up the right. So they have got a corner, and they've called Ian Wilson over to try and swing it in under Mikhailov's crossbar. Wilson for Scotland, and Mikhailov blocked it and found it again. Well, in this day and age, players feel disinclined to go in and harry goalkeepers for fear of being penalised, but on that occasion, if there'd been someone in closer attendance, the Scots might have made something of it. He was quick to react to cover his initial error, but a close call for Bulgaria nonetheless. And that's the state of the parties at half an hour of the match gone. Bulgaria 0, Scotland 0. And Scotland with the free kick. Nicol to Aitken, and he found a way through and tried the shot, and Mikhailov well behind him. Goalkeeper perfectly positioned. Free kick to Bulgaria. Ishbrenov. And all the way across the back four. Stoichkov, Petrov. They really do hold rigidly to their positions, the Bulgarians. Two central defenders, two full backs, tightly stationed out of the flanks. This is the right back, Nikolov. And looking for the running, Sirakov. Gary Gillespie, the man in control. Ian Wilson held on well there, and McStay to offer assistance. Cool heads there among the Scots. Clark fortunate to get away with that. His inexperience showing. The finish of it all. Back with Aitken, and then with Gillespie. Man on Roy Aitken there. The Scots doing what they have to do, and doing it with a degree of competence. It must be said, even if from an Irish point of view, it's not quite enough, because of course a draw for Scotland is no good to Irish hopes of qualification. But then looked at dispassionately, the Scots have come here to put up a good show, and they're certainly containing the Bulgarians at this stage of the game. Bulgaria, of course, in need only of a single point to tip the Republic of Ireland on goal difference and claim the qualifying place for Germany. So all it will do for us is a win for the Scots. Cut out by Aitken. McStay up towards Sharp. Now Malpa's doing well. Leclerc and Sharp. And McClare again. Nichols gone forward up the right, but there was no real angle on for him there, so it's Clark once more. Brian McClare. Two options. And must stay one of them. That's played in towards Sharp. But the Bulgarian reacted to Sharper there. Aitken in. Well won back. Steve Nichols. McStay. Fell between two stools there. McLeish fouled his man. Grim determination to make sure that he should not pass, nor did he. Nikolov for Bulgaria. Sirakov was well controlled. And that was a fine shot at the end of it. It seemed he'd lost his option there when he lost his footing just as he controlled that ball so superbly. But Sirakov, who was such an influential figure against Ireland here, very nearly worked the oracle against the Scots. Look at that for control, and one felt that if he hadn't just lost his footing there, he might have got the shot in earlier. As it was, he did get the shot in from a good angle, but Leighton was well across his goal. Ten minutes to half-time. It's still 0-0. A steady performance from the Scots. Sharp the lay-off towards McClare, and that's breaking in the direction of Ian Wilson, but the touchline came too soon. Another free kick. An over-exuberant challenge, this time from Maurice Malpass. So Bulgaria's free kick. Petrov. Cut out by McLeish. And now McStay, or Sharp rather. Throw into Bulgaria. And Hristo Mladinov calling the shots for the Bulgarians. Foul throw against Petrov. Stevie Clark up to take this one. Sharp. Return pass a little too firm. And it's been left for the left back, Petrov. That was Sirakov. Petrov will take the free kick. Aimed towards the big centre forward, Alexandrov, but yet again he loses out. The Scots in central defence have looked secure. The big man, Alexandrov, pushed up the middle to try and put the pressure on them. Is it a pretty thankless task? And that came off the head of Petrov, I felt, but he felt, and everybody but the linesman felt. Petrov had gone back to take up station in a defensive capacity and ends up taking the throw himself. Once again, it's Bulgaria's ball. Even if the ball boy felt it was the Scots throw. Well, eventually the referee getting the message across that he too felt it was Scotland's throw. Well, one thing's for certain, Bulgaria, if they are to qualify, aren't going to be doing so in a blaze of glory. There's no show being put on for the folks at home. If they are to progress, it'll be done in a business-like way. That's good play. Alexandrov. Tirakov was fouled when he was trying to get through there. Free kick is not awarded, in fact. Here the referee was signalling yes, but in the end, no. So play resumes, and the Scots try to mount an attack. But after a good opening half hour or so, it seems now they're withdrawing somewhat into themselves, Scotland. There was no one up when the attack was building. Good defensive header up and away. Now Graham Sharp back to Malthus, but everybody's way deep back in the Scottish half, and that long ball upfield from Malthus was to nobody. McClare and Sharp playing ever deeper. As we move into the final 5 minutes of the first half, still Scotland 0, Bulgaria 0, or rather the other way around, since we are in Sofia. And hooked away by Sharp. And it's almost as if the Scots are hanging on and waiting for half-time, expecting inspiration then. Because although they were playing in quite open fashion for a period in the middle of this first half, they now would retreated right into their own territory. And any attack that they are to mount is going to have to be patiently built. Petrov, Alexandrov, Clark going in, and then Aitken too, and Nicol put it back to Lee. Confirmation of the scoreline and the time. And now Scotland have men up. But Nicol under pressure from behind, unable to give the return ball to Stevie Clark. Clark being urged there by Andy Roxburgh just to get back. Feeling, has been in the past couple of games he's played for Scotland, that he's been a bit inclined to roam too far forward and forsake his defensive position. He's being reminded of his primary responsibility by his coach. Oh, Gillespie and McLeish in trouble there. And a corner is what is awarded after playing so well and displaying such a good understanding. There was clearly no call there. They both went to the same ball. And fortuitous that there wasn't a Bulgarian to take advantage. But a chance for the home team maybe to carve something out as we approach half-time. Stoichkov with the corner. And it was a Scottish head that sent it high over the bar. Jim Leighton appealing that there was a foul as the Bulgarian came charging in. And there are 3 men now on the deck. Well, one of the Scots has got himself up. They've left down just the Bulgarian, who seemed in some distress. He was signalling for attention the minute he hit the ground. Well, Scotland very nearly caught out by that swift attack. And for once, McLeish and Gillespie getting it wrong. And as the attack built from the corner, this man went down injured. And it would appear he's damaged his shoulder. Here's the corner again. And watch them coming in. Ah, yes, it was the Bulgarian who fell very, very awkwardly on his right arm there. and he's been led away. And they're preparing a substitute. Will he be able to continue or not? I think it's Alexandrov, the big number 9. Another corner to be taken by Stoichkov. Bulgaria at the moment with 10 men. And Alexandrov would appear to be withdrawn. The corner played in, headed away by Nickel. And eventually put out of play by Maurice Malpass. And Bulgaria, if they want, can bring on their substitute. And he comes on now, 1 minute to half-time. Ilya Voinov, he played in Dublin, was substituted by Peter Alexandrov, and didn't finish the game. And now the irony, the man who replaced him has himself to be replaced, and Voinov comes back into the fray. Alexandrov, the damaged arm, Voinov on to replace him. Well, he knew the moment he went down that he was in trouble. Signaled for assistance. I thought the last thing you need at a time like that is to be interviewed by the local radio or television station, but Alexandrov having to pause on the way to his treatment to offer his thoughts. Well, that's a good run, and Malpass did well to get the ball out of play. Bulgarians claiming a handball, and it wouldn't be for the first time if they got it that a penalty had been awarded in dubious circumstances here. But the Austrian referee, having none of it, was a very good run up the right, and the sliding challenge had to be a good one. But the referee saw no infringement, nor did his linesman, and it's a corner to Bulgaria as we move into added time at the end of the first half. McLeish getting it away. Iliev. On it's now Ian Wilson. McStay. Nobody forward really, and McStay run out of it. A foul and a free kick to the Scots. Certainly no suggestion that the referee is anything less than scrupulously fair here. He's run it straight and true, and no indication at all that he's going to be ever anything other than absolutely impartial. There you are, just over a minute of added time played, and the state of the play as it was at the beginning. And Helmut Kohl, the Austrian referee, has had a good look at the old watch, but still the play goes on. Aitken up, thumped away by Sadkov, and that'll go all the way through to Jim Leighton. And that is the end of the first half, a minute and a half of added time played. A first half in which the Scots had to survive an early scare, then put some pressure on Boris Mikhailov's goal themselves, but in the final 7 or 8 minutes had retreated into their shell somewhat, allowing the Bulgarians to come at them. The half-time score of the Vasilevsky Stadium in Sofia is Bulgaria 0, Scotland 0. The second half of the Vasilevsky Stadium underway. Bulgaria playing left to right, and Scotland have made a half-time substitution, sending on Gary Mackay of Hearts for his first cap in midfield in place of Paul McStay. And that's Mackay on the ball now, and it can only be assumed in the absence of Paul McStay, who is such an influential player for Scotland, that he must have been injured during the first half. But he's gone. Mackay's on for his first cap, and Bulgaria had made a substitution before the break, sending on Voinov for Alexandrov. The ball played up towards Steve Nicol, who's adopted very much an outside right role throughout this match. And it goes to McClare, and McClare falling over, and the referee not interested. The first touch for Boris Mikhailov in this second half. Ian Wilson squeezing it through to Malpass. Scotland have the throw just inside the Bulgarian half. Gillespie was sharp laying it off. Now Mackay. Wilson. And playing it infield towards Brian McClare. Wilson, and now Mackay again. Malpass. And Aitken. He rode the challenge of Zirakov. And offside flag race against Steve Nicol on the far side. Free kick to Bulgaria. Gary Mackay, one of the new faces of Scottish football. No past international experience to speak of, but a member of the Hearts team, the Heart of Midlothian team in Edinburgh, that's going well in the Premier Division in Scotland this season. Managed, of course, by that former Scottish stalwart right back, Sandy Jardine. This is Zirakov for Bulgaria. Was cut out, but then Mackay dispossessed. Pumped by Nikolov, and back to safety with Jim Leighton. Gillespie with a long ball upfield. Nicol chasing in a very forward role. That's McClare coming through, but Mikhailov was able to collect to the edge of his box. Nudge on from Ishkvernov. McLeish aware of the danger from Voinov. Steve Clark upfield. And Aitken for Wilson. Now Malpass. Oh, he did well. But a good challenge in the end from the sweeper, Pezinski. He read the situation so well, but it had been a good run by Malpass up the line. This was from the crowd for the over-exuberance of the challenge of Ian Wilson. But the Bulgarian is being spoken to and is going to be booked. The crowd don't like this one a little bit. Yellow card for the Bulgarian. Nikolov. Here's the incident again. Challenge from behind. In went Wilson. Oh, he really went over the top there, didn't he? I think the free kick had been given for the first infringement, which was Malpass pulling his man, but it was the reaction of the Bulgarian fullback Nikolov jumping in on Ian Wilson which brought the booking. That's Plamen Nikolov, professional footballer in Sweden with Braga. This meanwhile is Steve Nicol. Good run up the right. They've been able to get the distance up the touchline all right, Scotland, both Nicol on the right and Malpass on the left, but then the cross has been cut out. The well-organised Bulgarian defence able to deal with the threat, as did Gary Gillespie on that occasion for Scotland. 5 minutes of the second half gone. Bulgaria 0, Scotland 0. 40 minutes for Scotland to get a breakthrough that would send the Republic of Ireland to the European Championship finals in Germany. Steve Clark. And the referee going to take his name. So within the space of a minute, both right backs have been booked. Helmut Kohl, the Austrian referee, adding the name of Steve Clark to that of Vlamen Nikolov. Bulgaria have a free kick. McClare and Mackay, the two on the wall. And that was off the head of Steve Nicolin out for a corner to Bulgaria. Leighton coming and getting the fist to it. It's falling for the substitute Voinov. Nikolov, but cleared there by Mackay. McClare couldn't control it, but he's got the throw. The Bulgarian crowd strangely muted. They're exhorted before the game over the public address to give the home team all the support they can, but then when things don't go so well, they tend to become somewhat disgruntled and less likely to offer. Roy Aitken committing the foul, and Ilya Voinov making the most of it. The referee fully aware of the fact that Voinov couldn't possibly have been seriously injured in that challenge. Here it is again. Well, that was nearly it again. There it was. If he was to damage himself, it would have been more likely as a result of the fall than as a result of anything Roy Aitken did to him. Be told by Sirakov. Two men in the middle. Sirakov round Aitken. And that was Nicol rather who got it away. Back in again from Nikolov. And Steve Clark able to turn it away. It was very good play by the Bulgarian captain, Nasko Sirakov. Such an influential figure for the Bulgarians over the years. And in line for the European Golden Boot Award, he got 36 goals last season for his club, Vitosha Sofia. Andy Roxburgh and Graham Sharp in conversation as Bulgaria carry on with the throw. Nikolov. Bundled out of it. The throw given to Bulgaria. Ten minutes of the second half gone, no goals in the Vasilevsky Stadium in Sofia. Roy Aitken committing a foul, giving another free kick to Bulgaria. Back to Bezinski. And now Ishkrenov. And Steve Clark slid in with a challenge. And it's given a corner to Bulgaria. danger not averted. Leighton having to scamper from his goal and claim the ball. Sirakov. That's played on to the substitute Voinov. But Scotland's defence snapping shut once again. Really, Bulgaria has carried little menace. Scotland's defence has been well organised. Apart from the shot early in the game, and then the little aberration between the two centre halves, Scotland's defence has been able to cope pretty well with what's been thrown its way. But the question from an Irish viewpoint is, have the Scots anything to offer that could pose threat and menace to the Bulgarians and perhaps even secure an unlikely victory? It was Gary Mackay who committed the foul there. And the man down is Nikolai Iliev. Referee not going to let the attention on to Iliev and insisting that the game restart. Here's the challenge again. Mackay on the ball. In came Iliev. Mackay got to the ball. Succeeded only in catching the Bulgarian on the shin. The ball is out of play. Now will the referee call on the attention? Yes, he does. Iliev in the same position as he was when we left him to concentrate once again on the football. 13 minutes of the second half gone. The referee's stopwatch will be stopped once more. The rain falling pretty heavily again on the city of Sofia. Bulgaria and Scotland locked where they were at the outset. And of course, you need reminding, I dare say you don't, but Bulgaria in need only of a point to secure passage to the European Championship finals in Germany next summer. Leclerc doing well to keep possession, assisted by Mackay. Now McLeish. Played to Clark. Oh, and a loose one there from Petrov. Mackay losing out. Stoichkov. And the ball eventually running out of play. Throw in to Scotland. And we've reached the quarter-hour point in the second half. That does not take account, of course, of the stoppages and injuries that we've had. And in the first half, Herr Kohl from Austria added on over a minute and a half, so we can expect him to do something similar here. He's punctilious with the stopwatch. Corner kick, is it? Or is it a free kick? The referee appears to be pointing to the corner, and indeed that's what the Bulgarians will have to make do with. As they seek the opening goal on the night. They met at Hampden Park in Glasgow at the outset in this competition. It was scoreless it is here. As yet, that corner going straight out of play will give Jim Leighton a goal kick. Good length in that clearance from Jim Leighton. Graham Sharp beaten in the air. It's coming towards Steve Clark. But it was out of play before he arrived. Throw to Scotland. Ishkrenov. Sirakov. And Ishkrenov was on his way through and knocked over from behind by Ian Wilson. Free kick to Bulgaria. It was a good combination by the home team there. The captain Sirakov, who's involved in most of the good things they do, and the nippy Ishkrenov, who tends to raid up the left wing, but operating there in an inside right position, and bundled over by Ian Wilson, giving Bulgaria the free kick. Seven is Hristo Stoichkov. As I was saying, he used to be a boxer, and he got the killer punch here. The wall held firm. Malphus back to shepherd it out of play. Goal kick to Scotland. Scotland began this tournament with 3 matches unbeaten, drawing with Bulgaria and of course with the Irish in Dublin, and then beating Luxembourg 3-0, and there were 3 shutouts involved in those, and they lost of course at Hampden Park. If they should hold on here for a draw, it will bring to 3 the sequence of unbeaten matches this season, beginning with the friendly against Hungary and then carrying on with a very good 2-0 victory over Belgium. Roy Aitken. And now Ian Wilson, profiting from the error. Sharp. Good challenge by McLeish. The whistle has gone anyway for an incident off the ball, and Sharp being taken to one side. And his name is going in the book as well for the way he retaliated there. Second Scotsman to be booked. Clock shows 19 minutes gone in the second half. Sharp battled in there. The Bulgarian defender came out hard, and I think Sharp may just have retaliated after the ball had gone. Given a free kick to Bulgaria, and means that Graham Sharp becomes the second Scot to have his name taken. Here it is again. He was making the point he was going for the ball, but he was a trifle late for the ball. It was the first challenge more than anything else from the booking. The Bulgarian defender, Petrov, is all right. Play continues. Semyonov. Nikolov. Sharp again. Mackay. And that was McClare trying to force it into the middle, but got a corner. So Sharp's in the middle. Ian Wilson goes across to take the corner. Gary Gillespie arrives in the box to add height. Substance to Scotland's attacking claims. A former Leicester City man now with Everton, of course, to swing the corner in. Not a good one. It's come to Mackay. Wilson still back out there, but poor ball by Gary Mackay. And the opportunity wasted, not so much by Mackay's poor return pass, but by the poor corner from Ian Wilson in the first place. It's Mackay again. Did well. And now it's with Nicol. And that's surely a free kick to Scotland as Nicol takes a tumble. And once more the big men take up station in the penalty area. There's Graham Sharp, there's Ryan McClare. Alex McLeish has gone up this time as Gary Gillespie stays back. And Steve Clark thumps it high. McLeish going for it. Cleared by the Bulgarian defence. A throw for Scotland. We're midway through the second half. Not allowing for stoppages and injuries, of course, but 22.5 minutes gone. It's still scoreless. Wilson fouled. Free kick to Scotland. Nasko Sirakov committing the foul. And Ian Wilson to try to do better this time from the dead ball. Fish up again. And the whistle goes. He was penalised for the way he jumped in on the Bulgarian defender. Free kick to the home team. Off with the clearance. Scotland thinking about bringing on another substitute. More about that anon. At the moment they're under some pressure. The run of the ball favouring them there, but then Aiken fouling his man, and a free kick against Bulgaria. Anjo Zatkov pondering what to do with the free kick, and then using his left back Petrov. Semyonov, Nikolov, and a mix-up there. And Scotland fortunate to survive that. Bulgaria again claimed for a handball. But Jim Leighton thought about coming, then stayed put, and the centre halves weren't fully aware of that. But there was no Bulgarian close enough to take advantage. Scotland breathe again, and I dare say we do too. It stays 0-0 with 20 minutes to go. Aitken, Wilson, played over the top towards Sharp, then a header on towards McClare, but Mikhailov there and in control. Free kick against Roy Aitken. Down goes Sirakov, the Bulgarian captain, knocked to the ground by his opposite number, Roy Aitken of Celtic and Scotland. And Roy Aitken becomes the third Scotsman to have his name taken. Steve Clark and Graham Sharp being the others. Graham Sharp will take no more part in the proceedings here because he is being replaced. His 9th international appearance ends with his score sheet still showing an unenviable blank. And he withdraws to be replaced by the Chelsea striker, Gordon Jury. So Sharp goes and Jury joins the fray, and Scotland have used both their substitutes, and Jury becomes the second Scotsman to win his first cap in this fixture. The other substitute, Gary Mackay, doing likewise. Play will resume with a free kick to Bulgaria. Sadkov to Semyonov. And now Iskranov operating on the other flank. Well won back by Malpas. Played up towards Jury. The fresh, younger legs off in chase. Gordon Jury, who's served his apprenticeship as a youth and an under-21 international, and now making his first appearance in the senior squad and joining his Chelsea teammate Steve Clark on the pitch. There's another man, Chelsea man, on the bench in the person of Pat Nevin. Nevin, of course, now won't be called into action, Scotland having used their two substitutes. Ian Wilson to take the free kick. And a line of 4 Scots wait on the 18-yard line. And towards one of them, Alex McLeish. It's fallen now for Petrov. Steve Clark got back. Mackay can keep it in play. And now Gordon Jury. Firmly challenged, but fairly. Malpas, he's looked very sound and secure, the left back. Very good game for Scotland. Mackay, oh, that's a poor ball. And now Bulgaria raid up the left, but that's an equally poor effort over Jim Leighton's crossbar for a goal kick to Scotland. Well, it has to be said, if Bulgaria are the better team, the best team in Group 7, we've seen precious little evidence of it in this match. Their only defeat suffered last month at Lansdowne Road when they went down 2-0, of course. But that enviable home record looks like remaining intact. They haven't lost here in 3.5 years. And the only goal they conceded here in this European Championship was scored by none other than Frank Stapleton. So that puts the Irish performance into perspective. Here's Ian Wilson going forward. No pace in the shot. No pace in the shot, and Steve Nicol unable to connect with the misdirected shot, which turned out to be a pass. A goal kick to Bulgaria. Well, this fella graced the World Cup final. It's an interesting story about him. He was one of a number of players involved in a terrible fracas in the 1985 Bulgarian Cup final and was suspended indefinitely. But when they qualified from Mexico last year, he was rated indispensable. The suspension was lifted and now he's back. And he is one of the top goalkeepers in Europe, Boris Mikhailov. One of 3 players in the Bulgarian lineup who were suspended after that cup final, which also resulted in the teams having their names changed. CSKA no longer exist, and nor do the opposition. Vitosha and Sredets is what they're known as now. That's the way it stands with half an hour of normal time gone, stoppage time to be added. So 15 minutes away from decision time for the Republic of Ireland. Decision time for Group 7. Ian Wilson profiting there. Had Scotland the wherewithal to break down the Bulgarian defences? Gordon Jury off in chase, a missed kick in defence, but Mikhailov able to react. Yes, there's been no real punch up front from Bulgaria. But I suppose, in fairness to them, it must be said they feel if a point will do and they can play well enough to get that point, then that's all they need to do. But astonishing, really, if it should stay like this, that it'll be goal difference that knocks the Irish out. Well, here's 2 against 1 for Scotland. Is there something on here? Brian McClare. Jury goes in the middle. Still Brian McClare. Took rather too much out of that. Jury was in the middle, so too was Steve Nicol. But suddenly Bulgaria looks frail and vulnerable. Could there yet be the surprise that we all want? McClare. A deflection was taking a course towards Gordon Jury, but the deflection took it into the arms of Boris Mikhailov. So 14 minutes from the end of the Scots finding a spark. Here it is again. McClare drilling it through, just deflected there away from Jury and towards the waiting arms of Mikhailov. Jury again. Whistle goes. The Scots committed the foul. So Nikolov can get up if he so desires. Seen a lot of Bulgarians in that position, and that sure sign that the kind of game they're playing is not the open, fluid and fast one, but any seconds spent rolling around on the ground are seconds in which the Scots cannot score, and the Bulgarians can move closer to the point that they require. Bulgaria again. That's Sirakov, the captain. Ishkanov trying to get it in the middle. 11 on the go now. And this time it's away by Gary Gillespie. And suddenly the Scots finding themselves under pressure. Maybe lost their concentration somewhat. That's no danger to anybody. And as the game moves on into its final phase, and we wonder if the unlikely is at all achievable, I think we have to remember that if goal difference is to send Bulgaria through, that night in Luxembourg when the net was found only twice, and that evening at Lansdowne Road, again against Luxembourg, when it took a goal from Krings for the Luxembourg team to spur the Irish on, and they finally won 2-1. 4-4 and 1 against Luxembourg. What might have been achieved had the strikers been in form. Because in this day and age when goal difference can decide, even a magnificent performance, and that's what it's been through the group by the Republic of Ireland, gaining 11 out of the possible 16 points and securing the scalp of the Bulgarians at Lansdowne Road. Arguably the best team in the group, apart from the Irish, of course. Well, in this day and age when goal difference can decide, then the result that's so often talked about, the win, is not always enough. It's the margin of the win that can be crucial. And it won't be the Scots that let Ireland down if they don't win here. It'll be Irish lack of firepower, particularly against the weakest of the opposition in Group 7. Bulgaria can make do with 0-0 here, and 0-0 is now looking like what they're going to get. Back with Jim Leighton again. And the Scottish defence, well marshalled. That's Steve Nichol back helping out. And on this occasion, Nichol committing the foul. So Bulgaria with a free kick. Press forward, Sadkov, Sirakov, a good play by Gary Gillespie. Just to put the goal difference situation into perspective, if Bulgaria get the point, they'll finish on 11, as have the Irish. Finished on 11, that is. Bulgaria's goal difference will be 4-12 and against 5. Ireland's will be 4-10 and against 5. So similar defensive records, but Bulgaria with 2 more goals scored. And those were goals they scored, it can be said, against Luxembourg, where their aggregate record was 7-1 against 4-1 for Ireland. Ireland picked up another goal along the way, but another couple against Luxembourg, and we could be looking at a very different situation. Of course, it could be said that in this very stadium, Ireland lost the group when they lost the match 2-1, a match that went against them in dubious circumstances. Had they got a point there, then Bulgaria would have had to win here. But that is not the case now, and Bulgaria are now just 7 minutes away from the point they need to send them into the European Championship finals for the very first time. Scotland, with a couple of chances, it has to be said, but with little but their pride to play for and places in Andy Roxburgh's plans for the World Cup preliminaries, which begin next season. Expecting rather a lot of the Scots to do the job, score the goals that would send Ireland through. But they'll battle away to the end. Maurice Malphus with the throw, the rain cascading down. Gary Gillespie creating a problem for himself. McLeish offering the support. Whistle goes. Scotland were offside. Header on. The referee saw a foul challenge, so Bulgaria get the free kick. Stoichkov. Into Sadkov, Stoichkov again, that's high and wide. And it's now 40 minutes on the clock in the second half, 5 minutes of this match to go. Still it's Bulgaria 0, Scotland 0, and Bulgaria's first home match against the Scots looks like ending in the draw that will send them through, Bulgaria that is, to the European Championship finals. Nudge on from Aitken. McClare. Wilson keeping it in. Jury fouled there. And Nikolov pulling him down. Nikolov's already been booked, but he was determined that the Scotsman wasn't going to get away. Ian Wilson. McClare. Now Malpat. Jury off and battling. And he did well to get away there. Oh, look at that. That was always on. But advantage is played. Good refereeing. And it's come through now to Mackay. And it's there! It's there! Gary Mackay, the substitute, has put Scotland in the lead. And Ireland is remarkable story in Sofia. And full credit to the referee Helmut Kohl, who played a superb advantage when Gordon Jury was cruelly fouled. But it came to Mackay, and the youngster, on his very first appearance in the Scottish shirt, has put Scotland ahead, and the unlikeliest of results is now really on with just 3 minutes to go. Gary Mackay of Heart of Midlothian, you'll be made a freeman in the city of Dublin tonight. Paul McStay, the Celtic midfielder, withdrawn at half-time, presumably injured. Mackay gets his chance, and Mackay, 42 minutes into his international career, gets the goal that looks as if it has written history in the annals of Irish soccer. Another wet night in Sofia, and another unlikely Irish result. Wilson with a free kick, McLeish goes in. It's back towards Ian Wilson. But the tackle by Nikolov, the ball is upfield, and Malpas is there. Malpas for Scotland. Gordon Jury, Ian Wilson, Jury's away again. It's Mackay, the goal scorer, in fact. Down he goes. And Iliev it was who came in and pulled down Mackay, extracting his revenge for the goal that the young Hearts man scored, and he's feeling the pain. But the free kick has been awarded, and the heart has left the Bulgarian team. That goal having stunned them, they've nothing more to offer, it seems. Ian Wilson takes this free kick, and the ball away, but won back by Steve Nicol. We're into the final minute of normal time. That crate of champagne that Jack Charlton promised Andy Roxburgh if his team did it. I hope it's an ice, Jack, because the Scots have deserved that bubbly. And it's Maurice Malpas now to thump the ball away. Incredible when you think of it, really, that the Scots came here against a team which hadn't lost in this stadium in 3.5 years. They came without an away win themselves, as we have a substitution for Bulgaria. Simeonov coming off, and Lubislav Penev is going on for the last moments of the game. And they have a free kick. Yes, 21 months since Scotland won away from Hampden Park. 3.5 years since Bulgaria lost here. Scotland with a depleted squad, with a lad who would scarcely have been involved scoring a goal. But can Bulgaria now extract unlikely revenge? Nikolov. And Leighton saves it. Jim Leighton saves it. He's looked sharp throughout this match. He made a very good save early in the game, and he's made another very good save at the death. Here it is again. The referee has checked his watch. The header was a good firm one, but Leighton perfectly positioned, and his positioning is his strong point. But he was there to make the save. Bulgaria trying to battle forward again. Malpas, the hero, clearing once more. Nikolov pumps it back into the danger zone. Penev the substitute, but it's hooped away once more. And Gordon Jury off in chase here. He's the only Scotsman up. 1 against 2. But he's now got 2 inside. It's played deep and long towards Ian Wilson, and he couldn't connect. He couldn't connect. But it stays 1-0. If you've missed this match and have come in at the end, you've come in at the best part. Because just 3 minutes ago, Gary Mackay, the unlikeliest of Scottish heroes, the unlikeliest of Irish heroes, it must be said, got the goal. There's no offside. It's McClare, saved by Mikhailov. It's come again to Steve Nicol, but the whistle's gone for a spot of pushing there. We've played 1.5 minutes of added time. The waiting is almost unbearable. But it seems now surely too late for Bulgaria to pull this one back. 1-0 to Scotland it is. They'll mount the final charge. Helmut Kohl, the referee, has looked at his watch. Peneth, the substitute, goes off. The cross won't come in. Clark gets it away. And that was the head of the goal scorer, Gary Mackay. Now, Nikolov, the fullback. One last time from Bulgaria. Danger here! And the foot no more wide of Jim Leighton's right-hand post, and that would have been Bulgaria through and Ireland out. But the captain, Sirakov, found the space, drilled in a very good shot, for once Leighton was beaten. But away it went, just whistling that foot past the post. So we've lived dangerously these last couple of minutes. A save by Leighton and then a shot just a foot wide. But now 2.5 minutes into added time, and Jim Leighton clears with the goal kick. It's Scotland leading 1-0. That means Ireland are on their way to Germany. It's now Peneth, the substitute again. It's a throw to Bulgaria. How long can this go on? 3 minutes of added time has been played. Another deep ball. The big man couldn't connect. There was pushing in any case as Sirakov went in. But the referee signals a free kick to Scotland. And it's now 3.25 minutes of added time played. And Jim Leighton, who saved Irish hopes with that very good stop just moments before the end, clears it long. It's all over! It's all over! And the Republic of Ireland is off to its first major championship final. Jack Charlton has taken the Irish to Germany, 88. The goal from Gary Mackay, 3 minutes from the end of normal time, 6 minutes from the full-time whistle. The substitute sent on when the experience, the authoritative Paul McStay was withdrawn, was in the right place to claim the goal. Gary Mackay is Ireland's hero, and the Republic of Ireland football team can dust off its Deutsche Reiseführer. It can learn its German, because it's Munich and Frankfurt and Hamburg for next summer. Jack Charlton's men have done it. Group 7 belongs to the Irish, even if Bulgaria belongs to Gary Mackay. Boos and derision as the Bulgarians go down to their first home defeat in 3.5 years. But the Scots have achieved the impossible. The champagne can go on ice. The final score, which puts Ireland through, is Bulgaria 0, Scotland 1.